Hi there. In this video, we're going to talk about addition and subtraction inequalities. So an inequality is different from an equality. So the word inequality means is that things are not equal. So we want to write that two quantities are not equal and that one side is larger than the other. So some examples of equality is when two things are the same. All right, 3 is equal to 3. We agree that those are the same values, so they're equal. Same thing with -2 is equal to -2. All right, they're the same value, so they're equal. An inequality is when one side is bigger than the other. And in this case, I've got 3 is greater than 1. So this side is big, and this side is small, okay? And that's a true statement, that 3 is a larger number than 1. Now over here, we would say that -3 is small and that 10 is bigger than that, all right? And that's also a true statement because 10 is larger than -3. Now over here, this is where a lot of people get stumped. And this is like the whole -10 is larger than -100 and how this is big and this is small, all right? So let's talk real quick about how I use this symbol of an inequality and to show how we can always check to see if something is bigger or smaller than something else. So we have 4 inequality symbols, okay? This one here is called less than, all right? And then this one here is less than or equal to, all right? So or equal to, all right? This one here is greater than. And if it's got the line underneath it, then it's greater than or equal to, okay? So how I remember this is that if we can do this a couple different ways, all right? Historically, what you would see is the Pac-Man analogy, and that the Pac-Man is going to eat the bigger number, all right? But what I like to do is think of the shark analogy, all right? So when it opens up like this, then you have a shark, and the shark is going to eat the bigger number, okay? So either the Pac-Man or the shark is going to eat the bigger number, and that's how I know which side is big and which side is small. All right, and so when we can show inequalities and looking at the size of numbers simply by using a number line. All right, so if I put 0 in the middle here, and my positive side is to the right and my negative side is to the left, I can use a number line and say that the right side is big and the left side is small. All right, so when I did that one where I said that -10 was greater than -100, you have to think about something. If this is -10 here and -100 is out here, -100 is further to the left, meaning that it's a smaller number than -10. All right, so it's a little weird, like counterintuitive thing, but using a number line to help is really important. The next thing I want to do here is graph an inequality. All right, so let's just draw a number line here real quick, and let's put 0 in the middle. All right, and let's come up with an inequality here where I say that x is less than 7. Okay, and so what I want to do is plot the point for 7, all right? And when I think about this, numbers, some number that is less than 7, some number that is smaller than 7, so x is small, and so small means I'm going to the left, and that's negative. Positive is big, and means I'd go to the right. So if I look at 7, if I wanted to graph this and plot points that are going to satisfy this inequality, what I want to do is plot points on this graph at any of these points that would be smaller than 7, okay? So anything that's to the left of 7 is going to be smaller and satisfy this inequality. Now the thing of it is that if x is simply just less than 7, then I want to use an open circle at 7 and shade to the left and graph that, okay? Let's look at another example. So on this other example, I want to graph the inequality x is greater than or equal to -1. Okay, so what I have here is I have the statement that says some number is greater than or it is also equal to -1. All right, and so in this example, what I want to do is plot the point at -1 and understand that x is big, okay? X is bigger than negative 1, so that means I'm going to go to the right. Positive means that we're bigger, all right, and negative means that we're smaller, all right? So right is big, left is small, all right? And so all these numbers, like 0 is bigger than negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, all those numbers are bigger than negative 1, so what I want to do is shade to the right. Now, because we can also include negative 1 in this statement, I can then say that I color in my dot at negative 1, and I shade to the right, okay? And that's how I graph inequalities. Now, solving an inequality, I'm going to do the same as I would for solving an equation. And the difference, I solve the same way as I would an equation, but the difference is that I get a range of values, for my solution, okay? So let's look at an example. So if I were solving this equation here, all right, so I have an equation and I have an inequality. Now what I'm going to do to solve this is the same thing I would for any other equation, all right? So let's just solve the equation by subtracting 7 from both sides, and I'm going to get that x is equal to 3, okay? Now over here, if I solve my inequality, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, but the difference is that here I'm going to get x is less than or equal to 3. All right, if I graph my solution on a number line here, all right, here's 0, here's 3, my solution is simply just the point at 3. But if I wanted to satisfy and graph this solution over here, here's 0, here's 3, then x is less than or equal to, meaning that x is small. All right, smaller than 3 means we go negative. So I would plot a point at 3 and I would shade to the left. All right, and that would be my solution. All right, so I know we talked a lot about what an inequality was, the difference between that and an equation, but mainly what I want to show you is that we solve these equations the same way as we would or solve an inequality the same way we would an equation, okay? But the difference is we just want to graph our solution, and it's a solution set. So it's all these numbers that are going to be smaller than whatever you get as your answer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.